Hello, everybody. My name is Martha Alter Hines with Living the One Light. Welcome. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about the month of July 2026. I'm recording this on June 30th, 2026. So, tomorrow is July already, and today is the ending of the first half of 2026. How in the world? Um, so yeah, July is another gigantic, gigantic, gigantic month. June, July, and August all this really powerful set of months in 2026, as I've mentioned in many other videos. And I would just repeat that February 2026 was massive. March also pretty big, but not quite as big as February. But then June, July, and August, that would be that matches the power of February, I would say. Um, and yeah, on so many levels has, I would say, two main themes for me that I'm currently feeling. This whole set of, again, June, July, and August. The two are um number one, the theme that I've talked about a lot for many, many months is that I feel very strongly that this whole set of 3 months very powerfully holds the potential for us to be getting held to activate and come into our ultimate light codes and our ultimate ways of perceiving, being in relationship with the spirit world. Um, for a lot of people, it wouldn't surprise me over the coming next couple of months that people's clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, just our quote unquote extrasensory perceptions maybe are getting mm, augmented. It may not feel dramatic, but over this time, having that really come into land in our bodies in a much, much more um, open and expansive way. And that theme, I would say, is running through this whole time. But the second theme starts to come into play so much more powerfully in July than it has been up until now. And I would say the second theme comes into play, especially in the later part of July, and then definitely into August. And then it sets the stage for the whole next year and a half. So that second theme is so much about our power. What is real power? Who are we on the ultimate level? And what is, how do we ethically, responsibly, with integrity, fully land in our complete total power? So that's the biggest theme I'm feeling called probably to speak to today in this video, but that other first theme is also still really, really alive. And yeah, so what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna uh, show you the main transits of July. I will say a little bit, my feelings, thoughts about all of it, and then I'll channel because that always ends up being the part that I needed the most and most interesting to me. And things come through that I never would have guessed. So I will do that. That's the plan. And thank you as always for being here and joining me. I appreciate it more than I can say. And thank you for all of the deeply touching comments lately. Really, 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 really have it always touches me, but just recently that you guys have been saying some things that really touched me. So I appreciate it very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, okay, so let's look at July, these main transits. All right. Um, yeah, so again, I'm recording this on June 30th. The I would say the next kind of big energy coming is, but it's already in play, is Mars conjunct Uranus at 3 degrees 52 minutes of Gemini. Mars already essentially is conjunct Uranus. It just entered Gemini, I want to say yesterday, very recently. When did it enter Gemini? On June 28th, actually, so a couple days ago. And So now Mars is with the Pleiades, and Uranus is still pretty much with the Pleiades, and they're coming to meet at 3 degrees 52 minutes of Gemini. So a lot. I'm going to come out of the screen share for a second because this is a whole topic. Um, a lot of astrologers are talking about Mars Uranus conjunct because it's a big energy. And, the stereotypical thing, which I'm not denying is true, but the stereotypical thing is Mars conjunct Uranus often is related to earthquakes and, big kind of seismic event type things, shocks and surprises. And yeah, sure, yes, can be. And also, I think this is an example of if we drop into our bodies and if we drop into our being, rather than hearing that and going, oh wow, and getting into fear and oh wow, there could be a big earthquake or there could be a big blow something, it might all be true. And also, my personal opinion, um, I really, really in those moments want to drop in and feel in my own being, each of us in our own beings, how are these energies really calling to us, right? Because Mars is a being, I mean, a truly alive being. Just like a tree is alive, Mars is certainly alive. If a tree is alive, a planet is alive. Uranus is an alive being, and they are meeting very much in the part of the sky from our perspective with the Pleiades of all things. Okay. So when I just drop in and yeah, feel into the actual energetics here alive for me with that. I would invite you to even just do that with me right now if you feel called or come back and do it. I feel the Pleiades. I feel the Pleiades talking and yeah, Mars conjunct Uranus in Gemini of all things is like having a direct connection to um it gives us a direct telephone line almost, energetically. Gemini has to do with communication, connection. Mars takes us there and Uranus aligns us. So that's what I'm feeling is just this direct line straight to the Pleiadian energy, to the Pleiadian beings. And as I'm saying that, I'm feeling them nodding and smiling, go, yeah. They're like, yeah, exactly. It's exactly it. Um, yeah, so maybe I don't know, we'll see when I start. It's like I almost want to channel right now because it's feeling so good and so strong. But I would just encourage all of us, anybody, any of us to, yeah, rather than freak out about Mars conjunct Uranus, well, just, feel into it. Maybe the Palladians want to talk like with a direct line. I'm imagining the old telephones. Um, yeah, and it's always possible, but with this energy, extra, extra possible. So yeah, we'll see if they come through when I start channeling. They're so present. Wow. It's awesome. Okay. Um, yeah, and the powerful love from them. Very touching. Okay, so that's transit number one already in play. And Mars is currently squaring the nodes of the moon, and when it is conjunct Uranus, will still be effectively squaring the nodes of the moon. So the Pleiades are being squared by the nodes of the moon right now, and are extra, extra, extra alive. So yes, if you're feeling Pleiadian energy calling to you, right on, keep going, connect. They're always here. They are us, we are them, right? Just like with anything else. Okay. Then July 7th, Neptune goes retrograde at 4 degrees of Aries. Yeah, I don't personally tend to feel that one super strongly usually, but we'll see. We'll see yeah, nothing is arising for me to say about that, but it is a shift in energy. And then July 12th and 14th, those are bigger energies. So July 12th, Mercury will have its interior conjunction with the sun. So that's the halfway point in the Mercury retrograde. And I've talked a lot about the Mercury retrograde. I've channeled Mercury a lot, especially for those of you in the Mercury journey, but even for those of you not here on just in the YouTube videos. And so I won't dwell on that one, but it's Mercury, basically the Mercury retrograde, as I've talked a lot about, especially again for those of you in the Mercury journey. What that means is that when Mercury is retrograde, or Venus, either one, they go between the Earth and the sun. They're the only two planets closer to the sun than we are as Earth. And when they appear retrograde in our sky, what that means is they're actually they're making the part of their journey around the sun where they are between the sun and the Earth. And for me, that feels like this very powerful portal moment. Like they're in this sacred space held by Gaia, between Gaia and the sun. And the sun is a star, right? So it's when Mercury is in its interior conjunction, so between the sun and the Earth exactly. To me, it's like this moment when it can get turbocharged with the light codes of the sun. But for those of you in the Mercury journey, we're meeting on July 13th, the day after the exact conjunction, and I will be doing channeling for us on that day. That's our next channeling, actually. So yeah, so we'll feel it even more powerfully. What is that interior conjunction about? But in general, what I would just say is, I really want to emphasize that Mercury retrograde or any planet retrograde is really sacred time, because for any planet, it means that we are actually in the time when we are the closest to that planet. In the case of Mercury and Venus, it means that they're passing between us and the sun. And in the case of all the other planets, it means that the Earth is passing between that planet and the sun. Yeah. So it's very, very sacred and beautiful opportunity. Not something to be scared of, right? We need to flip that perspective of Mercury retrograde, in my opinion. So yeah, so that is happening. And then the next, 2 days later, on July 14th, is the new moon in Cancer. And it's a very beautiful new moon. And I can I will do a whole video on it, but briefly, here is the chart of the new moon. And you can see here, Mercury will have just had its exact conjunction or cazimi with the sun. And so the sun, sorry, the lineup will be Earth, Moon, Mercury, Sun, all lined right up with each other. And when I do the new moon video, I will actually show you the 3D version of that. But it's just such a beautiful, powerful lineup, and not too far, like still in the part of the sky with Sirius, Mercury heading back towards Sirius. And yeah, very beautiful. And this new moon is being squared by, loosely, but squared by Saturn, who is stationing to go retrograde. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute, on July 26th. So 12 days after the exact new moon. And Saturn also was quite a big player in the full moon we just had yesterday, June 29th. It was a full moon in Capricorn, so obviously ruled by Saturn and loosely squared by Saturn also. I'm going to come back to that. Yeah, so this new moon in Cancer, among other things, to me, continues a lot of the themes of the full moon we just had in Capricorn yesterday, June 29th. And I think, and is then setting us up for the energies coming at the end of July, which I will talk about now. Okay. And I'll break this all down in just a minute. I'm just giving you the data, and then I'll then I'll do the Martha meaning, and then I'll channel. for the probably the higher meaning of all this. Okay. So yeah, so July 14th, um, that new moon. And actually, I'm noticing Salacia. Salacia, so beautiful. Salacia is one of the Kuiper Belt beings. She is named after the wife of Neptune. And this Salacia is going retrograde at 13 Aries, um, very close to Saturn. So that's a really interesting thing in and of itself, actually. Salacia, for me, Pam Gregory has talked about her a lot. Kelly Hunter has talked about her a lot. I think Heather talks about her as well. Kelly and I have had various conversations about Salacia um, previously, and yeah, often she's associated with the shimmering on the sea. And what I feel in her energy a lot of the time is Neptune, is the god of the sea, the god of the oceans. Um, but Salacia, his wife, to me is very much about ourselves as light and earth and the oceans of the earth. That the fact that Gaia is not just land, Gaia is earth, air, water, fire, all the elements. Um, and and Salacia is to me an embodiment, a goddess energetic of embodiment of light and the crystalline light that we are, the crystalline light forms that we are. So yeah, she's a really beautiful, powerful energy. And also, so that's really, really, really beautiful that actually that Saturn is going to be going retrograde conjunct Celestia. This is just dawning on me as I'm talking. So Saturn having to do with structures, right? I could imagine this being an energetic that really supports us to come into the crystalline forms of ourselves and even the diamond crystalline forms of ourselves, the diamond light codes of ourselves, that kind of a thing. Which has certainly been a very strong theme in what I've been channeling, what Dr. John Ryan channels. I'm sure other people as well, lots of other people, I'm sure. And yeah, really, really beautiful. Again, when we tune into the highest frequencies, the highest potentials of all of this, and that even I would say is reflected in that Mars Uranus conjunction, because Uranus, the body of Uranus, is largely made of diamonds. So for me, Uranian energy also can bring in this diamond crystalline light. And the highest potential of ourselves as the divine, the intelligence of the divine. So yeah, beautiful. Um, and then interesting. Also, 2 days later, Leleākūhonua goes retrograde at 14 Aries. So conjunct Saturn also. And Leleākūhonua is a whole topic. If you are interested in learning about Leleākūhonua, uh, I have an entire free quote unquote course about Leleākūhonua. It's on my website, livingtheonelight.com. Just go to free gifts and you can learn all about Leleākūhonua. She is a beautiful, a powerful being. She is one of the only so far named Oort cloud beings. She's way out in the Oort cloud, where Sedna also is. And yeah, very few of those beings have been named yet by astronomers, but that is one of them. And there's so much to explore with that and feel into. So yeah, that's another beautiful thing you can do a deep dive if you like. Um, okay. And so right around July 20th, 22nd, the energies start to shift. Okay, so in the first part of July, we have really strong Cancerian energy and a lot of this emphasis like Cancerian and the Uranian Gemini energy. So it's much more of a softness and tenderness and more of an emphasis on that first theme I was mentioning for this period of 3 months, where, we're really, I would say, getting supported to feel our feelings, to know what our actual needs are, um, to to be held in our ultimate ways of perceiving things and knowing things and all of that. And starting kind of, I would say that the last third of July, that energy starts to shift, or the emphasis starts to shift. And the shift is into more of this theme of the power of who we are, the true, true, true power of who we are, and really honing that, taking radical responsibility for that. So I'm gonna come out of this and say a few more things because there's just so much here. Okay. Um, okay. So before I talk about the kind of very strong themes related to power in the last third of July, I want to drop in a little bit to the reality that actually already, the transits we've been having also, I feel like, are really preparing us for the coming very strong Leo energies and actually Plutonian energies, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But it's like before we get there, first of all, last night, again, June 29th or 30th, depending on where you are in the world, we had this beautiful lineup happening yesterday. We had the full moon in Capricorn. We had Jupiter enter Leo. So now Jupiter is in Leo as of now when I'm recording this. And Mercury went retrograde at 26 degrees of Cancer. Okay. So what I'm feeling in that is like, it's like Venus is already in Leo. Jupiter now is just entered Leo. And so they're giving us a taster of this Leo energy that's going to be so strong starting at the end of July, which again, I'll get to in a second. But I feel like actually the Cancer Capricorn energy is sort of it's like a preparatory, softer version of helping us really get it, like land in our bodies. Who are we really? What do we feel really? And really taking responsibility for, it's like how to put this in words, choosing to land all the way in who we actually really are as the ancient, divine, wise beings that we are. So I'm going to tell a little bit of a story that's a little vulnerable for me, but it's present and I feel like it kind of illustrates the point. And I hope it will feel empowering for you and maybe it'll be part of the medicine for me to share it. But anyway, so last night, I had this experience where a few months ago, maybe January, February, something, my guides told me very clearly that I needed to do a photo shoot. And I did a photo shoot in October of 2018. So, 7.5 years ago, right after I had just channeled and published Living the One Light, the first book in the Living the One Light series. And I was still working in social work at that point. I was still pretty closeted in terms of my spiritual, all of this that I'm now doing very openly. And so it was in the very beginning of this journey that I'm on now, doing this for you. And of course, I was 7.5 years younger. So at that point, I was 41 and now I'm 49. And yeah, so for a lot of reasons, my guides few months ago said to me, okay, it's time you need to do another photo shoot. And I went, oh my goodness, really? And they said, yeah, but this photo shoot isn't about like, look at Martha or, looking pretty. Or like I look good or I look bad. It's not supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to be about that. We need you to, in these photos, basically call back in the true soul of everyone, and the light as earth as everyone. And in particular, not exclusively, but in particular, the true divine feminine. And the true divine feminine as the wholeness of who she is, the mature, whole divine feminine, not just the pretty nice, kind of frou-frou-y feminine, but the goddess in all of her facets, the goddess in um the fullness of who she actually is, which is all of us, right? Regardless of like whatever gender we identify as, we are all that. And they said, you're needed. It's like super embarrassing for me to say out loud, but I'm saying it for some reason. They said, you're needed to be an emanation and a model, um, where it's not modeling as in like, look at the pretty picture. It's a modeling of grounding, literally calling back to ourselves, to God. It's like Gaia calling herself back to herself. Uh, and anyway, I could say a lot more about that, but long story short, the person who actually did my original photo shoot in October of 2018, she no longer lives in my town. She hasn't lived here for years, but I was having a hard time finding like the perfect person to do the photo shoot. I could feel it, like the match wasn't quite right with the people I was reaching out to. And so I thought, well, why don't I just ask her? So, maybe she's coming to town by some chance. So I reached out to her and it turned out, wow, guess what? She was coming to town. And guess what? The night she was available was last night. And I didn't look at the astrology of the day or anything. Turns out yesterday was yesterday. Yesterday was a full moon. Full moon in Capricorn with Jupiter entering Leo and Venus in Leo. Okay, so fast forward to last night. So just this image, right? This really sums up for me what I'm feeling so powerfully in this preparatory energy for us landing in, what our power truly is, okay? So you can just imagine this. So I was at the beach and with this woman, who's like very goddessy energy herself. Um, and yeah, assuming I haven't even seen the pictures. I don't even know. They could turn out terribly. I don't know. But I was wearing this very goddessy silk champagne colored dress thing. And so I was standing in the ocean and we did the photo shoot and it was really, really fun, actually, super fun and super empowering. But at the very end, I was like, there's one component missing here. Okay, what's going on? So the sun had just set. The moon was rising. She was boom. I mean, like so red and beautiful and powerful. And again, in Capricorn. So this is not frou-frou feminine. This is like the goddess who knows herself, right? Wow, I'm getting chills. Oh my God. This is the goddess who is the deep, powerful wisdom of existence, and she knows that. Like, uh, she's been around the moon. Okay, the moon has been around for eons and eons and eons and eons. And I could feel it. She's like, yeah, embody you now, do it. So I was facing the sunset, my back to the big moon, gorgeous moon rising over the bluffs. And I'm standing literally in the waves, in the ocean, in this dress. And I looked up and there was Venus. Because Venus currently is still setting after the sun, but she's pretty far from the sun right now. And so she's really high in the sky in the sign of Leo. Oh my goodness. With Jupiter about to enter Leo. This was last night. Um, and the sun setting. And I just like locked into, it's like me and Venus just became like one. Whoa. And then the ocean, all around me, and then the big moon rising in the back with the sun setting. And it was like I felt like yeah, it felt like an initiation. It felt like the totality of, I want to say, the power of the true feminine, just like coming boom back like into me, but also into it was Gaia, Luna, Venus, the ocean, all as one, just like landing all the way, right? And it was such a feeling in my body of relief and ecstasy and power that we have been, of course, we know this, we've been taught over and over and over again for how many lifetimes that the only true value of the feminine is the pretty 22-year-old or whatever. Um, but obviously that's not true. And so to allow to land back in us the mature wholeness of who the totality of who we are is a literal act of revolution. Like actually, for real. And it is so scary. I'm telling you, I mean, just telling the story for me is really, really vulnerable and scary. So, um, yeah, it felt scary. I mean, and I was like on a beach, it's public beach, and there's people walking past and all these things. But I was telling one of a group of you this morning that when I was doing this, what I was noticing is my attention, I didn't care at all what any men were thinking, and I have no idea if any of them, like I didn't feel the attention of men toward me at all. But what I did feel and what I loved and what I was actually just so ecstatically reveling in was I noticed a lot of women like around my age looking and not looking at me like, oh, she looks good or she looks bad or nothing. It wasn't like judgment or critique. It was like their energy immediately like looked at me and went, oh my God. And it was the sense of deep soul recognition of themselves, right? Not so much like looking at me, and I could be projecting, but this is what I felt from them. The sense of, whoa, that's what I want. That's me. That's it, right? And like this one woman looked right in my eyes. She's around my age. I kind of felt like maybe I recognized her, but I don't know her. Maybe she goes to my yoga studio or something like that. And she looked right in my eyes and we just like did this big smile. Um, and it wasn't like she was saying to me, "Oh, you look really good." It wasn't that superficial kind of a feeling. It was that sense of, wow, yes, like let's do it. This is it, right? So, oh my goodness. Anyway, so yeah, I just shared that. Shared that. It's very scary. But that's it, right? So when we land in like viscerally in our true Cancerian, Capricornian full selves, like that version of who we really truly are, the true vulnerability of ourselves, and the true deep ancient power wisdom of ourselves, Capricorn, the elder of ourselves, like whatever our age is, but the essence of who we are, as we are all elders, ancient beings of existence. It's true. Even when we're born, in a sense, we're all elders because we've been around. We're not new. I don't identify as brand new, and I don't feel like many of us are brand new. So, and newness, all newness comes out of ancientness, actually. Um, yeah, when we land in that, I don't, let me know if you can feel it, what I'm talking about. When we land in that part of ourselves, that then informs the energies I'm about to talk about so powerfully because we can step in to the Leo energy and these really strong power dynamic energies from such a different place in ourselves because we have landed, you know? Um yeah, and we it's like we're switching out of patriarchal patterning. That's really what it is that when I felt myself land like that last night, again, it felt like this initiatory sense of me and Venus as one, like me landing as the Venusian goddess being that is actually me, not what society says Venus is supposed to be, right? What society says the goddess, the feminine, is supposed to be, and that me at age 49, or looking whatever, um yeah, is right or wrong, right? That judgment doesn't make sense when we land in that. Easier said than done. But yeah, if we no longer are playing by those rules, then wow, here we go, right? This is the truth of our real power. Um, and we're doing this together. It's like we need each other so that we can feel safe because we haven't felt safe to actually be the real power of the feminine, or whoever we are, in eons of lifetimes in this time of great forgetting. Yeah. Okay. So again, that's scary for me to share, but I just did. um okay, so back to July real quick. Just I'll give you the ending of these transits. So okay, so then July 20th, Jupiter is going to be exactly opposite Pluto at 4 degrees of Leo, Jupiter, and 4 degrees of Aquarius, Pluto. Okay, so that is the beginning of these really strong Leo Aquarian themes that are going to be very strongly prevalent starting July, but all the way through the next year and a half. Um, July 22nd, the sun enters Leo. So then we begin Leo season for a month. And July 23rd, Mercury goes direct, conjunct Sirius. So kind of harkening back to these other themes I was just talking about with the Cancer stuff, Sirian stuff, softer energies. But then July 26th, massive day, massive. That's the day that the nodes switch from having been in Virgo and Pisces for the last 18 months. And now they're going to be switching into Leo and Aquarius for the coming 18 months. And on the exact same day as the nodes switch signs, Saturn goes retrograde at 14 degrees, 44 minutes of Aries. Okay. Wow. Boom. And then, again, I will make a whole video about this. July 29th, there's a full moon in Aquarius, 6 degrees of Aquarius. Such a powerful full moon. Oh my goodness. I will briefly show you that full moon chart because it is so intense. But here is where, we are going to benefit so much from dropping in to the true wise self that we are, the true tender, like the Cancer, um, Capricorn energy I was just talking about. Okay, I'm just finding this full moon in Aquarius. Yeah. Okay. So here's the chart of the full moon on July 29th. The moon will be at 6 degrees, 30 minutes of Aquarius, conjunct Pluto. Whoa. Not only that, the sun will be at 6 degrees, 30 minutes of Leo, conjunct Jupiter, almost to the minute. Okay. So, wow. This full moon is literally highlighting and present with the Pluto Jupiter opposition. And, just talk about powerful, and the power dynamics are incredible. And I'm just going to bring in Haumea, and in my full moon video, when I talk about this later, in an entire full moon video for this full moon, I will highlight this more. But just to say that Chiron is now in Taurus, is going to be squaring the sun and the moon and Pluto and Jupiter, and so will Haumea. So this full moon actually creates a grand cross, an incredibly powerful grand cross with the sun and the moon conjunct Pluto and Jupiter, but then also squared by Chiron in Taurus and Haumea in Scorpio. And yeah, it's a whole topic, but it's like so much potential in this energetic for I'm feeling Haumea, like again, it's the goddess saying, hey guys, yeah, I've been kind of relegated to the sidelines a little bit and so we've had this very distorted sense of what power is supposed to be, but that's not power, guys. You know, we know this. Oh, I was not sharing that chart. Hang on, let me share the chart I was trying to show you. Here, okay, sorry. Here is the moon, the full moon, 6 degrees Aquarius, sun, 6 degrees Leo, Jupiter with the sun, Pluto with the moon, and Chiron in Taurus, and Haumea in Scorpio, both squaring the sun and the moon, etc. Okay, and actually also at this full moon, Uranus, which rules the moon, will be trining the moon and Pluto. Oh my goodness. And then Neptune will be trining the Jupiter and the sun and Hygeia. Oh, wow. I didn't even notice all that. Yeah. Mm. This is such a powerful full moon. My goodness. And this full moon isn't quite an eclipse, but you can see the sun here very close to the south node. So we are immediately after this full moon, then we're definitely in eclipse season, and the first eclipse is on August 12th. So I would say, you know, as we approach this full moon on July 29th, we're already, even now, even I'm recording this again, June 30th, we're already feeling the energies of the coming eclipse season. But certainly by the time of this full moon, it's the beginning of eclipse season, and this ushers it in very, very, very strongly. So, yeah, so I'll just say a couple more things about this, and then I will actually channel. I've been speaking a lot more than I normally do in these videos as Martha me, but it felt important. So, yeah, I'm feeling that presence of Haumea so strongly in this, and I also have a free Haumea course on my website if you're interested in that. I have a free Leleākūhonua one, a free Haumea one. Yeah, enjoy any and all of it, and lots of other things for free there. But you know, when we think about, it's like obvious, but when we think about the ways in which power has been displayed or used, or I would say misused around the world and continues to be, yeah, we can think of so many examples, right? And Leo energy, could easily think of many examples of very out of balance Leo energy, very out of balance Scorpio energy, um, and and I would say actually very out of balance Aquarian energy even. So, um, so it's like on the flip side, when we have these very strong Leo energies coming, Aquarian energies, Scorpio energies, and to a certain extent Taurus energies, but especially the Leo energy so powerfully strong coming very soon, we can imagine that the out of balance Leo energies are going to get even more out of balance in a lot of ways. Okay, I really feel strongly, I don't feel called to focus on that, right? What I feel called to focus on or be present with is, how is the Leo energy calling us, calling me into my highest version of it? Because we're here to embody that. And um, and when I think of Haumea, she's a goddess of regeneration. She is a Hawaiian creator goddess. So, yeah, do you think she stands there and tries to look pretty and is quiet and um, does all the things that girls are supposed to do? No, obviously not, right? Um, and yeah, there's so much more there, but it is, I just say it for my own self, having just done that experience last night, you know, of letting that land in me, the true power of my being. We are not taught how to do that. And it is really, really vulnerable and really, really scary. And we have these examples in, for example, Haumea, or for example, in other like powerful archetypal energies, and just the moon itself. It's like so beautiful. Gaia, or the earth, so amazing. Each other, you know. And I feel in this coming year and a half, Haumea is likely to be a big model for us in all kinds of ways, when we really feel her in our bodies. And I'm sure I'll be talking about her much, much, much more over the coming year and a half. Yeah. But how do we land in our real, true power? Okay. And there's so much more I could say. I will. I've been talking a lot. All right. So that I will now channel. All right. So, unbeknownst to you, I just paused for a minute and I just took a minute to feel what's wanting to come through in the channeling. And I'm super excited because, long story short, but I'll let the channeling, we'll see what actually comes through. And what I'm feeling about to come through is related to another very powerful experience I had maybe 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. Yeah, I'll let this channeling speak for itself. But yeah, I'll just say another theme that I'm feeling, very alive and very potent, and easier said than done, is the ability or the opportunity for us to, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's going to come through in the channeling, but um, to be held in our, the tenderness of the beings we've previously been, or been in other lifetimes, and also their gifts and power to land all the way in us. So yeah, I'll just let it come through in the channeling, but I have a guess that's what's about to come through. And I'm excited because I had this experience a couple weeks ago, and I've been trying to sit with, how can I, when and where can I have time to let a similar experience be held for all of you, because it feels so important. And yay. So yeah, I think that's what's about to come through for you. Which is great. Because I was like, when do I have time to do that? Probably right now. Okay. Um, awesome. Okay. Okay, so hello and welcome, beautiful beings, beautiful being. So I am here today as an emanation, a vibration, a frequency, the power of who you are, as me, as the being you call your sun, the star at the center of your solar system. And I am here, as Martha was expecting and experiencing. I'm here to hold space, a kind of portal space for you to have a chance to perhaps revisit this experience over and over and over again if you feel called. But I'm essentially going to be holding a portal space for you to meet or re-meet past life selves of your own being, your own energetics. And this, I'm going to be creating a portal of light for you to enter and perhaps re-enter multiple times, to have a sacred meeting place for you and the beings of you who you've been in other lifetimes, other dimensions, other galaxies, other existences, both past and present, and ultimately all in the past and the future, but all ultimately the present, because ultimately there is no time and there is no space. So it's like, if you picture yourself like a prism. You typically experience one facet or maybe a few facets of this prism that is you, but you actually are an infinitely sided prism. And so this portal of light space that I'm going to be holding for you today is like a magical place where any facet of your being and you can meet. And in this portal place, there are two main intentions. One is for you to have a place where you can be held by this facet of you, this other facet of you, and that facet of you can be held by you. You can do powerful, powerful healing together, either of aspects of this other being that are needing healing still, in other words, aspects of your own being and yourself from these other existences, and or the being of your quote unquote past lives or even future lives can hold you for healing you're needing in this lifetime. But then the other part of it is for the extremely powerful, probably far beyond powerful of what you even can conceive of so far in this lifetime, the incredibly powerful gifts and all of the totality of the power of your other existences can come back online for you here and now, can be essentially gifted or re-gifted to you by these other aspects of you. So we're excited. Let us begin. And again, this is something you can come back to over and over and over again. And this is really even to set the stage of the coming Leo energies, with now Jupiter being in Leo, Venus currently being in Leo, the South Node about to enter Leo at the end of July 2026, and then the South Node going to be in Leo for 18 months. Okay, so let's do it. So if and as you are ready, we're going to speak through this whole time as though you have given and are giving continual, complete, enthusiastic consent, permission, and invitation. But if for any reason you're not, absolutely, this is entirely in your control, and we invite you to step out or just observe however feels good and right for you. Okay. So taking a long, slow, deep breath. We invite you to feel yourself now being placed in a beautiful orb of pure golden healing light. Like a chamber of golden healing light. Just feel yourself held and surrounded by this light. Might feel somewhat like sunlight because I am and we are emanations of beings of the star you call your sun. And taking another few more long, slow, deep breaths, I now invite you to notice and to invite in. There is at least one being, possibly more in the wings, probably actually infinite more, but just to start today, just with one. I invite you to breathe in and out and notice and feel a being, an aspect, a facet of this beautiful prism of the divine as you, a being of who you were or will be in a past life or future life. The being of you. Perhaps this is from your very last life. Perhaps, again, it could be from any time, any dimension. And whoever is showing up would just set the intention and the holding that this is the exact perfect emanation of you to be medicinal and in your absolute radical highest good only in this moment and each and every moment. So it could be a different being who may show up next time. But whoever is showing up right now is precisely in your exact right alignment and your highest good and the highest good of the all that is. And so we invite you to notice as this part of you, this aspect of you, this past life being of you, slowly comes into view and eventually finds their way to be standing right in front of you. And we invite you to just take a few moments and be in the presence of this being that is you. She, he, it, they. It might be a human version of you. It might be infinite other types of beings. Whatever it is absolutely perfect. And we invite you to begin just by acknowledging each other, by looking perhaps deeply in each other's eyes, maybe giving each other a long hug. And breathing in and out. I invite you to just attune to this being that is you, maybe as you're hugging, holding each other. And then maybe as you come away from the hug, just again, looking in each other's eyes, or maybe bowing your heads and closing your eyes, and just attuning to who this being is, attuning to who you are. And then asking very simply, noticing what's arising in this space between you. What's the most, what are you each needing? What is one of you needing? Are there emotions? Is one of you in some kind of pain emotionally, physically? Is there some kind of healing needed by one or both of you? If yes, we invite you to invite the being and yourself to experience whatever it is precisely you're needing. So if you are in a time when you're needing a kind of comfort or holding by this being, ask for it and then receive it. If you are noticing in this being, perhaps this other being of you in this lifetime has experienced many other has experienced traumas or joys or whatever it is, maybe there is a calling for you to hold this being, this past life being, or even future life being of you, more likely past life, as the future life you is very likely to be more in the quantum field or the light crystalline diamond aspect of you, but whatever it arises is perfect. So if you're experiencing that or noticing that this being of you and from a past life is still having a trauma experience and needing to be held, we invite you to just offer whatever this being is needing in whatever way is just right for you. And this being might need to curl up in your lap and be held like a child, maybe needs to deeply grieve or cry. Maybe just needs a reminder that everything is okay in the ultimate sense. And you can take your time as long as you want, as long as you need, and eventually get to the point where as you're holding this being in the wholeness, the totality of you now, and the wholeness and the totality of what existence really is, you can feel how eventually whatever this being is needing, comfort, the grieving, the crying, etc., eventually you will get to a point where that need just melts away. And it might take time. It might even take a few times of being with this being over days or weeks or even months. But eventually, we invite you to notice that this healing occurs. And the being of you from this past life receives exactly what he or she or it or they need. And the healing is complete. So again, take your time with that, come back to it, be with it as long as you want and as long as you need. But energetically, we're just going to move to the point of the healing having completed, because eventually it will. And eventually it does. And eventually it did. And now we invite you to take another long, slow, deep breath. And another component with this that you could do more deeply and powerfully on your own is you could find music or a playlist. And we encourage you to turn on this music and feel yourself dancing and swaying with this being of you. Maybe holding this being as you're dancing and swaying, maybe having fun, maybe just reveling in knowing each other face to face, soul to soul, eyes to eyes, heart to heart, body to body, knowing what it is to know each other consciously in this moment and having fun together, having fun loving each other. So that's a component you could come back to and do on your own as well. Put on some music that is soulful and maybe light and happy, or whatever emotion you are wanting to celebrate in, grieve in together, but ultimately celebrate the powerful love that you have for each other and the reality that you've, in a sense, found each other again. And then when you're ready, especially perhaps once some of this healing has occurred, Then we invite you into this second component of this very beautiful and profound exchange, still held in this orb of light, this chamber of light for you. So, taking another long, slow, deep breath, we invite you to feel and experience this being, this past life being or future life being of you. And now, again, face to face, heart to heart, soul to soul in front of you. And this being of you, every facet of you, perhaps has trauma, but also has incredibly powerful knowledge, deep ancient knowing, and incredibly powerful gifts, gifts of healing, gifts of remembering, gifts of knowing through all of time and all of space in ways that are so far beyond what your current human brain probably can conceive of on every single level. And it is time, in this time of great remembering, for every single one of your gifts from every single lifetime to come fully back online as you now. The forgetting is over. And in the time of great forgetting, for many, many reasons, the experience of your own power has been very scary because often, again, for many reasons, but often your power has been relegated to something off limits, forbidden, etc. And so we won't go on and on about that, but now it is time. It is absolutely time for the totality of your full power to come back online, and that includes every single one of your gifts through every single lifetime, through all of time, all of space, and even beyond that, into the void as you as source itself. So every single facet of you, every single facet of that prism of you contains the infinity of your full true power and your full true gifts. And this being here today is going to give them back to you, especially the ones that this being holds and knows. Okay, so if and as you're ready for this component, it's very exciting. We invite you to feel, see, experience this aspect of your being, this past life being or future life being, or perhaps both at the same time. Ask you if you are ready, and then assuming you give enthusiastic consent, permission, and invitation, we invite you now to feel as this being of your past, present, and future place on you, in you, through you, every strand of your knowing, every strand of your full, complete light. Light you up from the inside out, like as though you are a candle and this being is restringing the wick in the candle of you and lighting back up the light codes of you from the deepest depths of ancientness, the deepest depths of the true power of existence as you. You are literally an embodiment of the totality of the power, the full power of Source itself as you. And taking another long, slow, deep breath. We invite you again just to feel this being now, or even multiple beings, in a sense, restringing the wick of the candle of you. And that wick on an energetic level is like it contains the codes and the strings of codes of remembering of every single knowing, every single gift that you have ever been through any lifetime, any existence, all of who you are. No more hiding. No more hiding from yourself. No more doubting from yourself, even. It all comes back online now. And that is who you are. And that is who you've always been. And that's who we need you to be forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And so it is. Amen. Okay. Very adamant. Amazing. All right. Yeah. That's July. Okay. Wow. It's like, where do we go from here? That is pretty darn cool. Love it. All right. Well, yes. I'd love to hear, of course, what that's like for you, what comes alive for you, and all of that. I've just shared a lot, vulnerably, and yeah, and also, wow, right? I can feel it. What if, wow. What if we all of us are now embodying the totality of who we really are, the full gifts of who we really are, the power of who we really, really have always been, really are, shedding that patriarchal version of the incorrect, just not true notions of what power is, who we are, all of it, who the divine feminine is, who the divine masculine is, all of it. Amazing. All right. Yes. Okay. Well, I have to close this, but yeah, uh, all the things. I will put links to things I'm doing here. July 22nd, I'm holding a Star Magic party for people who have joined the self-guided version of the Stars Speaks course. I would love to have you join if you want. It's highly, highly, highly discounted. I've talked about it previously, but I'll put the link here. You can join that if you like. I would love to see you. August 16th, I'm holding an in-person gathering in Santa Barbara, California. I would love to have you there. If you want the recording of that, if you can't be, in person in Santa Barbara, you can also sign up for the recording. Very, very amazing, wonderful things coming in September. Two things. They're not quite ready to sign up for, but almost. There's an angel journey, super excited, with Emmanuel Dagger starting in September. And then also a New Earth soul business journey starting also in September with Emmanuel and Mark Harris, the brother of Lee Harris. And both going to be really, really, really amazing and wonderful. Yeah, I'll say more about that soon when they're ready to sign up for. Yeah, I think those are the main things. But and sign up for the free Living the One Light community, free Living the One Light app. I have a whole free page, all the free things, the free Haumea course, the free Leleākūhonua course, all the things. Okay, amazing. Thank you as always so much for being here. I'll see you again really soon. Happy July.